Hello, everyone, and welcome to The FlipSide. We're going through our study of Mark. It's the podcast that explores the weekend teaching on all the campuses at the Bayside universe here, Bayside Church. And I have got the largest frontal lobe of any Bayside pastor. This is a thinker's thinker. This is a theologian's theologian. And I want to tell you, behind the scenes, a very, very nice person as well. Dena Davidson, welcome back to the FlipSide.
Thanks, Curt. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm trying to cross-pollinate between the Bible study on Sunday night, our Sunday evening, and the FlipSide a little bit here because we're both in Mark, and you have been killing it. We got so many views on the Bible study. Wednesday, 7 p.m. Is when that airs, and Mark Clark gets so many views, and Andrew gets so many views. And I'm not doing that bet, but you are the real celebrity of that.
I did not know that.
Oh, yes.
Yay me. Go me.
Oh, we're all fighting behind the scenes to teach with you because the views just go up.
It's basically my favorite thing that I get to be a part of right now. It's so fun. Just even fun. Myself to get to explore the Bible that deeply.
Yeah. Have you checked it out? Definitely check it out. What we're doing on the flip side, it's not like a verse by verse study here. We just kind of go after what didn't get said, what needed to be said. The vision here, again, you probably get sick of me saying this, is let's not just listen to a sermon on Sundays. Let's live a sermon, grapple with a sermon, wrestle with the truth all week long. The FlipSide's here to help you do that. Go back and watch all the other episodes. We're in Mark chapter 3, and it's all about discipleship. Our faithful producer, director, and digital guide is Taylor. Taylor, we got some questions worked out this week?
Yeah, we got a few. You guys ready for the first one?
We're ready for the first one.
All right, the first one is, what do you think the disciples thought it meant to be a disciple back then versus what people think it means to be a disciple now?
Well, that's a great
first century
question.
discipleship versus 21st.
Right.
2020 discipleship.
Yeah, we don't even really use the word disciple or discipleship very often. I think it's working its way back into church lingo, but we lost it for a while. I think I'll start with today. I think a disciple loosely means, I follow Jesus, meaning I go to church on Sundays. Maybe I read my Bible a few times a week or month. I go to Hillsong concerts, and maybe I listen to a couple Christian podcasts.
Right.
That's probably what a disciple means today. But I mean, Curt, this is your forte. What was a disciple in Jesus's time?
Well, I mean, first of all, let me before I do this, because usually when someone answers this question that's a serious theological thinker type, they're like, no one's a disciple anymore. The lost art of discipleship. And why aren't you more of a disciple? You're just a consumer Christian coming to church, getting fed. Like what's that movie with the little robot and everyone's on the space cruise and they're all fat?
Oh, WALL-E?
WALL-E, yeah. Yes. Yeah, you're just a WALL-E Christian. And I just wanted to let people relax and go, everyone struggles with being a disciple, especially the disciples.
That's right.
The early disciples struggled with it. It just means follower. It means someone who is in the footsteps of Jesus. It means the main way I explain it, there's probably two aspects to it. One is someone closely imitating Jesus. I do not make disciples of Curt. I do not make disciples of Bayside. We make each other disciples of Jesus. So we closely follow Jesus. Jesus taught in the laboratory, not the lecture hall. So discipleship isn't just intellectual learning. Some people get discipleship and foundations of the faith mixed up. Yeah. Knowing the foundational doctrines will not change you. Applying the foundational doctrines will change you every day of the week. So it's following and applying those things. I know people with multiple degrees in theology that are not changed at all. I know people that have very simple and rudimentary understanding of theology that are working it out in their life, and they're closer to real discipleship. So the first aspect is following closely, and the second aspect is inviting others to follow closely. Yeah. This is where I think we miss it. They understood that discipleship by its nature was multi-generational. 2 Timothy 2:2, you've heard me teach this to thrice since over and over again. The things you have heard me say, and trust reliable witnesses who will do likewise. And so it's Paul to Timothy, Timothy to his leaders to their congregation, and so forth and so on. Yeah. So discipleship is not just me following Jesus. It's me going, come and see. Come on. Hey, I'm Philip, Andrew, Jesus leaving town. Let's go. Do you got your reservations at Jesus Motel? We got to get a room.
That's good.
Hopefully a conjoined room.
Yeah.
So
okay.
that's Discipleship.
You teach this segment every year to the Thrive School students, and I always love it, where you talk about the Jewish educational system.
Yes.
And what it meant to the disciples who were, some of them out on fishing boats to be called to be a disciple of Jesus. So
Yeah. I mean, basically, we think that we came up with the educational system, and that we've got, we have SAT scores, and we have entrance exams and essays we write to get into universities, and we think that that's unique with us. But actually, the Jewish culture had a very elaborate, in-depth, intense, more intense than ours. Unfortunately, just for Jewish boys. That's unfortunate. Go watch the movie Yinta. Actually, don't waste your money and time on that movie. You could just listen to the songs, wonderful songs. But so what would happen is in every little village, a synagogue system developed over a long period of time that basically, this is an oversimplification, had boys coming in around kindergarten age, memorizing the Old Testament.
It's crazy.
Memorizing. They're people of the Word. So even to this day, the literacy rate in Jewish communities is extremely high. They have very little problem with illiteracy because there's such an emphasis on learning the text. So they would memorize the Bible, and then they would memorize the oral tradition of the rabbis commenting on the Bible. And then in every synagogue, there would be, not in every, but in most synagogues, there would be an all-star. And prominent rabbis would come by and say, come follow me. They would say to the boy that was the best, come follow me. This is what's very interesting about the Apostle Paul. He gets asked, come follow me by so many rabbis. He makes it from Turkey, Greek Jewish tradition, Greek-speaking Jews, all the way to Jerusalem, where the real Jerusalem-y Jews studied, and he makes it to the top of that system. So what a disciple is in their term is a succession of being asked over and over again by more prominent rabbis to come follow them and learn from them. So then you get Jesus. And he shows up and goes, by the way, the guys with scales on their hands and fish under their fingernails. Yeah. Oh, and the guy that's ripping everyone off, the tax collector, who's in collusion with the occupiers.
And the zealot, the one who's trying to overthrow the Roman government.
The guy make Jerusalem great again.
Yeah.
I'm going to put him on the same team with the Bernie Sanders guy.
It's perfect.
And we'll just create a little team here. And that's why they were all very dysfunctional. I feel like we're talking to, Taylor's saying you're going too long on this one.
You're done with this question.
You're good. Yeah. No. Are you guys ready for the second one?
Yeah.
Is the coffee ready yet, Tay?
The coffee is almost ready. Probably about another.
Don't bring it till it's ready.
Okay.
Interrupt us when it's ready. Because one time, Dena, he brought the coffee between the first and second question. It wasn't ready because I called for it, and we spilled a lot of coffee.
It was very embarrassing. Not gonna lie.
It's off camera. Go back like 4 episodes.
Yeah,
go back 4 episodes and see if you can figure out which one it is.
You'll hear a splash.
Okay. Question number 2.
Okay. Number 2. To be a disciple in 2021, what do you have to do?
Oh, that's so good. Well, I'm gonna go for my background, and I would say, as much as there is a practical component to the faith, there is also an intellectual component to the faith. And so the classic way this has been described is orthodoxy and orthopraxy. So orthodoxy is having right belief. Orthopraxy is having right practice. It's the way we live out our faith. And to be a true disciple of Jesus Christ means you completely have both. You're an Orthodox Christian and you're an orthopraxic Christian. You have right belief and you have right practice. So I just, maybe you could take orthopraxy, but I'm just going to camp on orthodoxy.
Go
for a little
with
bit,
orthodoxy.
because we live in this, in the 21st century, there's this idea that truth is personal. And, I'm living out my truth. And really what this comes from is a philosophical idea that truth with a capital T is inaccessible to our minds. We cannot grasp it. There could be a capital T truth, but because of our lenses that we've grown up with, we can never get outside of our own perspective to access capital T truth. Against that comes this idea. It's not just a Christian idea, but it's a very Christian idea that there is a God that knows everything, that has actually spoken. And he is a great communicator. And so he is communicated in such a way that he has revealed capital T truth. And it's our responsibility as a follower of Jesus to adopt that capital T truth into our lives and to make sure we fully sink our life into it, that we trust it, that we believe it. And so I think part of following Jesus means really having the beliefs of Jesus. If Jesus believed something, we don't get to have a different opinion. If you're a follower of Christ, that means you follow him in his thoughts as well as his actions. And I think that's an underappreciated, undervalued aspect of what it means to be a Christian in today's world.
Dena coming against the post-modernity thinking. We don't accept this subjective view of truth when we talk about traffic laws. When it says stop, we go, yes, stop.
Yeah,
at least most of us, yeah. That's true. But we, in our personal life, what can be known is a great question. We should do just a whole podcast.
And the reason, Curt, that people stop is because they know that it will create chaos if they don't stop. And I don't think we take that to heart. Like if you don't believe in capital T truth, it leads to a state of absolute chaos for the individual soul and society. So
yes. Okay, I'm not going to talk about orthopraxy, although I really like whenever the FlipSide has great $3 words.
That's right.
that you can use this Friday just at your next social gathering.
Are you an Orthodox Christian?
This is a great time to get the coffee.
Oh, the coffee.
Okay. Tay in front of the camera now. We usually say Caleb. Tay, say hi to everyone. And Taylor Annis, everyone.
Thank you, Taylor.
Not as good as Cameron's, but
okay, what's right? What is
Cameron's stuck in a snowstorm. So
African?
He's fine.
African, yes. It's passion fruit and lemon verbena.
We'll see.
I really actually love it.
Is it good?
The coffee game is high.
Oh, look at that. Both
Yeah.
me and Cameron, we've been working at it behind the scenes.
Good. I like
You guys
it.
do practice sessions.
Getting the
pour
ratios
each other
right.
coffee.
Okay, orthopraxy and orthodoxy. Okay, orthodoxy, how we think. Your point is how to be a disciple in 2021 is to reject the current 2021 idea that truth is hyper-individualized. Truth is defined by my community and my preferences, not by my creator. And I totally agree with you. I think there's great chaos when our truth, it's really our community and our preferences that get defined by it. And so therefore, we are only as transformed as our community and as enlightened as our preferences.
That's right.
So what I want to talk about is not orthopraxy, because I think there's many, many practices you could do, and they're very, very similar to what you did at Jesus' time, which is learning the truth, spreading the truth, acting with compassion, believing for transformation, praying for people the way Jesus prayed for people. I mean, just all the stuff they literally did from town to town. That's what we should do. What I want to emphasize is not the individual actions, like everyone go and pray for a leper today. I want to end what you said a minute ago, which is, I think, is genius. To be a disciple in 2021 is to reject either or thinking. So orthopraxy and orthodoxy must be married.
That's right.
I think orthodoxy maybe is the first one in the critical path. How I think changes me on the inside, the renewing of my mind. But what always happens, it's happening right now in the church, in the conversation with justice, biblical justice or social justice, is we want to separate compassionate acts with orthodox beliefs.
So true.
And it's an error on both sides.
That's right.
If you want to liberalize your theology so you can access more people to give them more compassion, you are taking the power out of the ability to actually spread the compassion and people's ability to actually transform their lives, not just receive a moment of compassion. If you are preaching the gospel without the signs and wonders of healing and preaching to the poor and bringing good news, not grumpy news, not we hate you news, not, hey, tennis shoe company, why aren't you acting like a Christian? That's right, I went there. This is the weirdest thing ever. Hey, tennis shoe company, why aren't you acting like Christians?
Because we're maybe not? Like, I don't know.
Hey, Christians, act like Christians.
That's right.
So and I don't know why, Dena, in our soul, we want to tear these things apart. We want to go, I've signed the doctrinal statement, I'm done. No.
Yeah.
John the Baptist, Jesus, I'm doubting, I'm jailed, my life. Tell me, are you the real deal?
That's right.
Go back and tell them that the blind see. That the blind see. That we're unleashing compassion on the poorest and the most disenfranchised. Yeah. You got to put them together. You can't. And there's tension on either side of this. There's resist on either side of this. Don't say that. Just act with compassion. No.
Yeah.
Jesus was a declarer. We come here to declare the kingdom of God is near. The kingdom of God is coming. Yeah. And Jesus was a demonstrator. He was a declarer and a demonstrator. And we just have to resist in this time being forced to be in part of one camp or the other. No, we are declarers and demonstrators. They go together. In fact, you can't have orthodoxy without orthopraxy. You can't have orthopraxy unless you really understand the orthodoxy, or at least you take the power out of it, I think, if you do.
That's right.
So today, think about what you can think about and do.
Yep.
That's what that's what it means to be Jesus-y disciple. I love that adjective, Jesus-y, by the way.
Jesus-y.
All right, we're good. We got anything else you want to say on that one?
No, just yes and amen. There's no separation. It's what Jesus did with all of his time. He went out and he preached and he healed and he cared for people's true needs.
I feel like we're not referring to the passage enough on this one. So go read the whole chapter 3. But it starts with another time Jesus went into a synagogue preaching and healed a man with a shriveled hand.
Yeah. Yep.
So literally he's going, by the way, you know what your Saturday morning service lacks? It lacks a little bit of compassion for the man with the shriveled hand.
Yeah.
So, all right, Tay, I think we made our point.
Perfect. Third question. If the disciples had the gram, they had Facebook, what would they be posting?
Oh, man.
What would the disciples be posting? This is not a great question for you because you're not.
I am. Okay, I follow 30 people on Instagram. I'm like the worst Instagrammer.
You would have a massive following if you cared, Dena.
It's not that I don't care. It's that I really think other people are great at it. And I'm just celebrating and cheering those people on. And I just post pictures of my kid. So.
Well, your kid is a very, very cute person.
She's very, very Instagrammable.
Yes.
What would you say, Curt? I would I think
I'd be careful about exploiting your kid for social media. Oh, no, we're off the topic. We're off the topic. Okay, so I would say, okay, here's what the first thought that came to my mind. I'm not sure if this is true, but I think you'd see a lot of that one type of Instagram post that's captioned this, because what Jesus did was so unexpected.
So like a random picture.
Yeah, no, I'd be like,
it would be
like Jesus is in the synagogue and he points to the one guy with the shriveled hand. And you're like, okay, of all the guys, by the way, when you sat in the synagogue, you sat in the kind of priority order that you were in the city. So, the religious leaders are up front. Guess where shriveled hand guy's sitting? So Jesus is up there going, give me the scroll from Isaiah. We're going to read a prophecy about the Messiah coming. And he gets to the end. His conclusion is, it's me, by the way. Yeah. They're all going, no, it's not. What in the world? This is the carpenter's son. Yeah. He was in middle school with my boy. And he's like, okay, let me demonstrate to you. Guy in the back with the shriveled hand, come up here. I want to show everyone that it's okay to be loving, compassionate, and even miraculous on the Sabbath. And so I think the disciples, they capture that moment. And,
that's good.
It's kind of like a what next or caption this. And then there's everywhere Jesus went. In fact, this is Mark's favorite word in this Mark story. You already know what I'm going to say. Immediately. Immediately his hand got hold. Immediately this. Immediately that. This wouldn't have been on Reels or Story.
Yeah.
That's too long a format. This had been the loop or the little video or the caption this.
So good.
Because Jesus was unexpectedly pure. He was unexpectedly authoritative, uncorrupted, and it shocked people in the best way wherever he went.
That's so good. Okay, I have one. I thought of one. I don't see this as much on Instagram, but there was a phase in Instagram where there would be like a series of 4 pictures where it's like what my family thinks of college, like what my boyfriend thinks of me in college, and so I feel like that would be what they would post. Like, this is what what the Pharisees think of me following Jesus looks like, what the Romans think me following Jesus looks like, what my family thinks.
I love that one.
And then the last one is like what following Jesus is like, because it was always defying everyone's expectations, including the disciples. They were just, to your point, they were constantly lost, constantly doing the unexpected, constantly saying, Jesus, wait, can you please explain it to us? Because even when you explain it to them, we were a little bit lost still.
Right.
So I think
I love that one. Like. So what my mom thinks, what the Romans think, what the religious leaders think, and then the last...
what it actually is.
Yeah, what do you think? What is the picture, though, of what it actually is?
Oh, man, there's just so many different scenes, but I mean, the picture is just they're always with him.
Right.
You know, Jesus he does send them out.
Yes.
But almost all of the scenes of scripture are them with Jesus.
Yes.
And so I just see like them around a campfire with Jesus, or them walking somewhere with Jesus.
My image on that one is they're around the campfire going, what in the world happened today?
Totally. And like a few of them talking to each other, being like, do we ask Jesus this question? Is this one of those moments where he's going to get frustrated at us? Or is it okay to ask a question?
Right. Who's got access to a boat? They're making that plan.
Did we bring food this time, guys? That was bad last time.
Can someone ask Mary if we can get an advance on this month's budget?
Exactly. Did he really rise from the dead? Were you guys all there? That's what I thought happened.
The point of this, Dena, is we need to demystify discipleship. And it's the whole thing I was saying at the beginning. When you actually get into these passages in Mark, and again, read the whole chapter, Mark chapter 3, how Jesus selected people is a main theme in Mark. It's a part of chapters 1, 2, and 3. He goes over it over and over again. And I think one of the messages we're supposed to get is you are a candidate to be picked by Jesus. So, we think of discipleship and already this kind of old curmudgeon, I'm so serious about the gospel, I can't smile. I got to have it perfect. I got to know $3 theological words. And it's literally the exact opposite point. The unexpected, overwhelmed, easily confused, mundane tasks sometimes are discipleship. Get in a boat, handling a crowd, figuring out what the budget on how to get from Nazareth to Canaan. That's a disciple. And that's literally who he picked. These ordinary, easily overwhelmed, regular people. And so, I think we feel like someone's got to come around and give us a degree before we can start calling ourselves a disciple. And it's the literal point is it's way more simple than that.
That's good. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
I also think in this chapter, Mark 3, if we don't talk about the fact that when Jesus calls people to be his disciple, he's calling them into a community. He's not just calling them to be with him. There was no being with Jesus without being with his disciples. And so I think about the fact, like, there may be someone tuning into the FlipSide and, they're not part of an actual community of believers.
It's very good, Dena, yeah.
And I would say you're just missing part of following Jesus.
Yes.
Jesus is specifically where his people are. He told us that. I am going to be in the midst of you. Where 2 or more are gathered in my name, like, that's where I will be. And so I know that this has been a really crazy, interesting season, but I think that God has been gracious to give us a lot of options. So even if that's joining with someone on a Zoom call, or if it's actually showing up on a weekend, or joining a small group at someone's house because that's where you're a little bit more comfortable. In this season, I think we have to fight to actually gather with Jesus's people and not buy into this myth that we can just follow Jesus but do it ourselves, because that is not the Jesus way. Jesus always calls people into a community, and it's the community that really takes care of each other. I think Jesus is fully capable of meeting our individual faith needs. It's just not the way he does it.
Right.
He chooses to meet our needs through other people. So in order to get our needs met by Jesus, we actually have to be with his people.
We were talking about this in staff this week, and I said, this really goes back to your answer on truth. We are hyper individualist. My truth is my truth, and that's not Bible. It's not gospel. It's not about the individual, it's about the environment. Discipleship is an environmental thing, not just an individual thing. And if you're not doing it in the environment, I love these first 3 chapters because Jesus is giving people nicknames, left and right. That tells you family. That tells you team. That tells you road trip. That tells you camping trip. Hey guys, we're gonna call these guys the Sons of Thunder. Forget their real names. Sons of Thunder. And I get them sitting around, and one of them's going, "Hey, is there more fish for dinner?" And they're out of fish. And he's like, "Oh, the Sons of Thunder are hungry. Can't cook for yourself, Thunder." There is that sense that there was great camaraderie and relationship, and the tension of relationship and the conflict of relationship in them. That's discipleship. It's environmental, not individual. It's community. It's very, very good.
Even Jesus's disciples were always getting mad at each other and offended. So I would say if you have this picture of Christian community that it's so peace loving and there's never any conflict and you love everyone and you like to be with all these people, that's just not what the Bible portrays. Jesus's people are always fighting. They're always bickering. They're all, whether it's even the first century church, the Jews versus the Hellenistic
Jews.
Yep. It's like conflict is everywhere. And so it's hard. Christian community is really, really hard, but it's very, very worth it.
There you go. Hey, well, next week we're going to be in Mark chapter 4. We're kind of like a week or so behind here on the FlipSide. So I want to encourage you, go ahead and watch all those other FlipSide episodes, get caught up here. There's a great one with Chad Veach that we dropped last week. Don't miss that. It was so fun. I mean, not as good as you, Dena, but Chad was pretty fun. And we will be in Mark chapter 4 next week, and then Mark chapter 5 the week after that. And I'm hoping to have some folks from our Thrive conference. Maybe Mark Clark will stop by. Going to try to get Chris Brown. So keep watching ahead as well. And I want to ask you this favor. This is really important to me. Would you actually go to the Bayside YouTube site? Go to the YouTube site, enter Bayside Church YouTube in any search browser. It'll come up. And the fun thing about that is you're going to see all the FlipSide episodes from recent there. You're also going to see our new marriage mini series called Expectations. There's 4 episodes. You'll see all the back episodes of the Bible study from Wednesday night. You'll see the current message. So we're talking about this weekend. You're confused because you're in Bangladesh. You'll actually be able to look at the sermon and see what it is and make those correlations. In fact, it is the most anointed Netflixy area of all. You just go in there, boom, boom, content. It's really awesome. There's one sermon in there I did on humility. Incredible. You got to see that sermon. So thank you for laughing at that, Dena. I just want to tell you, there's so much in the equipping area of Bayside on that YouTube site. You'll never have to do yard work or take a long road trip again without edifying your soul. So get onto that Bayside YouTube site and then watch a couple of the FlipSides and share them. Would you please share them? Share. What did your mom tell you when you were a kid? She told you to share. She was talking about the FlipSide. That's right. So go ahead and do that for me. God bless you. Mark 4 next week. And thanks for tuning in to the FlipSide.